Hello, psychologically minded humans. Welcome back to PsychologyWorks on adult ADHD. I'm Dr. Greenaway, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about how to maintain your self-esteem. It's a well-known fact that adults with ADHD have a higher likelihood of having depression, anxiety, and self-defeatist attitudes that affect our self-esteem. What we want to learn today is how that occurs and what we can do to stop it so that we can live happy, fulfilling lives despite having ADHD. In the previous episodes, we've talked about how to actually curtail many of the problems that come with ADHD. We've learned how to not get distracted as easily. We've learned how to stop procrastinating. We've learned how to use a time management system to be at the place at the right time and get things done more efficiently. Today we're going to be talking about how to maintain your self-esteem. Because ADHD affects our time management, our executive functioning, our thinking through a sequence of tasks in an efficient, organized way and staying on that task until we've accomplished what we want to accomplish, we can expect that there are going to be more errors than usual made. Now, if you use the strategies that we've been talking about in the other episodes, these incidents should go way down and there will not be as much of this happening. However, when it does happen, we want to make sure that it is not getting to our self-esteem. Now, let's talk about self-esteem for a second. What makes self-esteem? What is self-esteem? Our self-esteem is our views about ourselves, our thoughts, our beliefs, our philosophies about ourselves, our worth, our accomplishments, our success in life. What hampers that self-esteem are certain beliefs, certain attitudes, and those beliefs usually go something like this. And I want you to examine your own thoughts and beliefs when you do make an error, if you've been late to an appointment, if you've done something wrong at work and you noticed it, if you have upset somebody because you weren't doing the thing that you told them that you were going to do, or the thing that they were expecting you to do. Examine your own life. In those situations, have you had some of these thoughts and beliefs or ideas? Things like, I'm such an idiot. What is wrong with me? I am so stupid. Those are beliefs that a lot of times people have, and that is what directly cuts into our self-esteem. Don't take my word for this. Let's do what we call an automatic thought record. I want you to take a piece of paper and I want you to divide it into 3 columns. The first column is going to be where we jot down a situation where you noticed some upset mood, something where you were angry or frustrated or anxious maybe even sad. Something where something went wrong because you made a mistake, you were in error, you were somewhere late, you said you were going to do something and you didn't and it upset somebody else. Some kind of situation like that. And in the first column, we're going to write 1 to 3 sentences. What was it that happened? This is where we just want facts. We don't want opinions or any kind of emotional valence on it. Basically, where were you? Who were you with? What happened? And like I said, it can be 1 to 3 sentences. I was late picking up so-and-so for the party. Or I was taking a test and noticed that I got one of the problems wrong. Something like that, very brief. And now column 2. Column 2 is where we write the thoughts, the ideas, the beliefs that went through our head when that event happened. Go ahead and pause this now and really think of a situation, jot it down, and write down what thoughts and ideas went through your mind. What most people find is that the thoughts are something like, what a fool I am, what an idiot, how could I have done something like that? These are very extreme words, an idiot, a fool, a jerk, through and through. Now let's take that one step further. If you did have some thoughts like, I'm a fool, I'm an idiot, I'm incompetent, that's another popular one. Think for a second why that would be upsetting. We don't want to just stop there. Let's say theoretically you were able to prove that you were an idiot or that you were incompetent. You can't really do that because these are words with a lot of emotional valence and a lot of extreme thinking attached. But let's suppose, just in theory, that you were an idiot, you were a fool, you were a dolt, you were incompetent. What would be the most upsetting thing about that? Think for a minute. When I do this in therapy with patients, what comes out most of the time is that would result in people not wanting to have anything to do with them. One of the biggest fears in human nature is to be alone. Think about solitary confinement as being one of the worst punishments, or in the past when they would ban somebody from the city. If you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, after we've got food, shelter, air, water, the bare necessities, the very next need that we have is to belong, to be accepted, to be part of the group. And if we are an incompetent idiot, then people are not going to want to be with us. We're not going to be able to find a mate. They're not going to want to stay with us. And that is really the core belief that people have that hits their self-esteem. I'm an idiot, I'm incompetent, and therefore I'm going to be alone in this world. In column 3, we want to put what the feeling was. After that event happened in column 1, it produced those thoughts and beliefs in column 2, and then those thoughts and beliefs produced the emotion, which will be in column 3. Usually the emotion is something like frustrated, angry, sad, upset, demoralized, something like that. And you can even give it a rating. The emotion can have a rating. Think of a meter that's measuring this emotion. So if you put frustrated or upset or anger or any emotion, 100 would be maximum anger or maximum frustration. 0 would be no anger at all or no frustration or none of the mood that you put on your paper. In that situation, go ahead and rate what number you would give it from 0 to 100. So now we know where low self-esteem comes from. It is from these extreme views that we take on because we may have heard some of these things in the past. So where do these negative ideas come from? Why do our brains jump to that negative conclusion? I'm an idiot, I'm incompetent. These ideas start to formulate at a very early age. Imagine you're a little kid and you're supposed to get ready for bed. Sounds like an easy task, go get ready for bed. Now for a kid with ADHD, that is a series of tasks that has to be done in an organized, efficient way without getting distracted. If you don't have ADHD, you might go in your bedroom, put on your pajamas, go brush your teeth, go get your glass of water ready, and you're all ready for your story and for going to bed. If you're a kid with ADHD, you're going to go in the bedroom, you maybe forget what you were supposed to be doing in the first place, or maybe you start to put on your pajamas and then you see a really great book that you remember liking and you start flipping through it, or you see some Legos on the floor. Let's say you get your pajamas on and your first thought is, I'm ready for bed. Then the parent comes in, did you brush your teeth? Oh, no, I forgot. Did you brush your hair? Oh, no, I forgot. Then as you get older, the questions are, where is your book? I don't remember. Where was this homework assignment? I didn't know we had homework. And you start to have these experiences over and over where people are getting upset because of the problems that ADHD causes. So we grow up, and when we make an error or we make a mistake, we still have those voices of our teachers, possibly our parents, saying, what's wrong with you? You should have known that. Why didn't you have that finished? And they seriously affect our self-esteem. This is precisely what we need to change. We need to change our self-talk. A great metaphor is the Little League child who's out there in the field ready to catch the ball. Pop fly comes flying over to him. It lands behind his head on the ground. The kid misses the ball. Coach A comes out onto the field. What's wrong with you? Haven't you been paying attention in practice? My dog could have caught a ball better than that. Pay attention next time. He walks off the field. That kid is going to feel bad about himself. He's going to feel like he's incompetent. He's going to go home. He's going to toss his glove to the side. When the next practice time comes, he's not going to feel very motivated about going. And he's going to have this negative feeling, this negative emotion about the game. Let's rewind. Same kid, same pop fly, he misses the ball. Coach B goes out onto the field. He says, I noticed you missed that ball. It went behind you. Try standing back a little bit, and then when the ball comes, you can always move forward much easier than moving backward. And try to catch the ball at chest level so that you can adjust up or down as needed so you can catch the ball. There's going to be some more coming out to you. Just keep trying. The kid in the example with Coach B is going to feel more motivated about trying to do better. He's going to want to get back in the game and try some of these things that he's learning. This metaphor plays out exactly the same way in real life. If you have a Coach A voice in your head telling you what an incompetent idiot you are, you're going to feel demoralized, defeated. You're not going to want to try. You're going to feel like it's hopeless. If you've got the more realistic Coach B in your head, pointing out things you can do to improve, you may not always get it right, but you want to have a different attitude toward it. You want to view yourself as a person who can learn from mistakes. If you are learning some of these strategies to not make the mistakes, then when you do make mistakes here and there, you should still be able to see the whole picture. Instead of editing out the flaws and the errors that you're making or the times you were late, you want to be able to see the whole picture of the times where you got it right, or the times where you put something in your calendar and you made it on time, or the times where you did well on a test and you took the time to double check your work and you caught the mistakes and you fixed it. Then your self-esteem is going to remain despite having ADHD. Now in cognitive psychology, we talk about these cognitive distortions. They're human biases, ways of seeing things that are inaccurate, usually because they're too extreme. One of them is black and white thinking, or otherwise known as all or none thinking. So if you make an error and you say to yourself, I'm a complete idiot, think about that scientifically. To be a complete idiot, you would have to be at your core level an idiot through and through without having done anything, no evidence that goes against I'm an idiot, which I don't think anybody has ever actually fit that description. What you want to do is be more realistic and say to yourself something like, I made a mistake, people are going to be upset, however, I'm going to use this strategy to try to make that happen less. Or you want to say, I made a mistake, that is not a good thing, however, I've also done many positive things in my life as well. So instead of all or none or black and white thinking, you want to be able to see the whole picture. You don't want to just edit out the times where you've made a mistake or where you were late or where you forgot something. You want to be able to also see the times where you were there on time or where you double checked your work and you caught your mistake and you fixed it. That way you're getting a more complete view of yourself as a human being that has some flaws that you're working on, as well as somebody with a lot of potential, a lot of skills that you can apply and still succeed in life, so that you don't see yourself as incompetent. The other thinking mistake that we should talk about is known as catastrophizing. You take something that's a little bit negative and you blow it out of proportion and make it seem like it's the end of the world. So what you want to do the next time an incident happens where you're noticing those negative thoughts about being an idiot or being incompetent or being a loser or that you're going to be alone because nobody wants to be with you, think about that error that you made and how meaningful it actually is. Will it really make that big of a difference? Will a score on one test result in you failing that semester, not being able to get a job, being homeless, or having a crappy job that you hate? That's a common line of thinking that a lot of people with ADHD have. When their self-esteem starts to get hit, they start to believe that one error is going to lead to a complete life of unhappiness. We don't want to do that. That's catastrophizing. The third thinking mistake we're going to talk about is called the shoulds. Now, we all have a rule book of how we think the world should be or how we think we should be. And it usually goes something like this. We should do well, we should be on time, we should remember all the things that we're supposed to remember, we should be competent, those kinds of things. That sounds great. It's not realistic. We want to be realistic and we want to know ahead of time that there is going to be a certain percentage of tasks that we do that will have some errors in them. You can strive for perfection, but you should understand that when there is a mistake made, that that is to be expected, and to be able to, again, see the whole picture and realize that the errors are a smaller percentage of the complete picture. If you can do that, you can maintain your self-esteem. After watching this video, what I would love for you to do is to get some more paper and do some of these thought records. When an incident happens and you're feeling upset and you notice your self-esteem slumping, write down the thoughts and beliefs that you have. Look at those thoughts and beliefs and see, is there any all or none thinking going on? Is there any catastrophizing? Are you making it seem much worse than it really is? Will the results really be that bad? And also look for shoulds, where you're trying to achieve some kind of perfection that you think you should do, instead of seeing that error as a small blip in a sea of successes. The next skill after you notice the thinking mistake is trying to foster that coach B, the one who understands that you made a mistake and is still accepting and encouraging rather than humiliating and causing you to feel defeated. It takes practice. It's a skill. It doesn't happen overnight. You've developed this way of speaking to yourself in your mind over years and years. It's going to take a while to notice when it's happening. Debate those automatic negative thoughts with the more realistic ones. But if you keep practicing it, you will notice that you will do better and better at not feeling so defeated every time an issue comes up. That way, you can be one of the millions of adults with ADHD that still is able to feel confident and competent and have pride in themselves and be a fully functioning, happy person despite having ADHD. That's what I would want for you too. So go out there and start practicing this, apply it. I'll see you in the next episode, and remember, psychology works. Good luck to you.